Perfect. Hi, everybody. Thank you again for joining us and spending your summer Friday with us. We are really excited to have you. We are here celebrating the special animation session for us with Eric Bauza, and we are celebrating the release of Space Jam: A New Legacy, opening in theaters and on HBO Max on July 16th. Today, Eric is going to be teaching you how to draw some of our very favorite Looney Tune characters. Eric started his career in animation as a character designer, working with a few production studios in Hollywood. It was there that was his introduction to the animation world and led him to become one of the most successful and in-demand voiceover talents in this town today. In this new film, Eric voices the iconic characters of Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Foghorn Leghorn, and so many more. So without further ado, if everyone will give us a big wave to Eric and welcome him in. I'm going to throw it over to you, Eric, and you can get us started.
Thanks. Man, what's up, Ducks? Thanks for joining us. You know, you guys could be at a theme park or outside, but you guys chose to be with me, Daffy Duck, today.
Guys, thank you so much. I really do appreciate seeing so many fans of this upcoming movie, Space Jam: A New Legacy, and so many diehard fans of the original Space Jam, like me. Again, I'm just here because I think we all love the Looney Tunes. You know, they are these classic characters that have been with us for 80 years. You know, Bugs Bunny is like 81 years old. You know, and
yeah, I hide all my wrinkles with this fur on my face.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing to know that we've known these characters like we know like an old relative, like an old uncle or our grandparents, you know. But there's two things that I learned from Looney Tunes, of course, to make funny voices, and I encourage you all watching to keep making funny voices. You know, it's so much fun, especially at the dinner table at Thanksgiving, making fun of your cousins and your aunts and uncles. But Looney Tunes also taught me how to draw. And that's exactly what I want to do with you guys today. Are you guys up for a drawing lesson? Cool. So today, I thought we would go through some of my favorite characters that I've voiced before. On
HBO Max, I voice Bugs Bunny for Looney Tunes cartoons. And in Space Jam, I voiced Daffy Duck.
Woohoo! And Marvin the Martian. Isn't that lovely? We're gonna draw these characters. They all have their different, you know, degrees of difficulty. I think you guys all got this book. This is one of the greatest things. I remember as a kid loving any kind of like activity book or any kind of book that featured artwork from like these, you know, from like the movie or whatever, because you could really study the characters. I used to watch these old Looney Tunes cartoons and just really like, I would hit the pause button if I was recording it, so I could see how like to draw the characters, how they work. And it really is super easy if you break down the characters into simple shapes, step by step. So let's start with Bugs Bunny, okay? You guys got your pencil and paper ready? We're gonna draw first an oval, kind of like an egg shape. So you guys can, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's not gonna be like the final shape, but we're gonna draw like a shape like that, like an oval on your paper. And we're gonna put down the middle a vertical access line. And this is kind of like to give us some perspective. So anything that's on this side of the oval is gonna be slightly bigger because it's kind of like our point of view. And then anything on this side, the smaller side, is gonna be smaller. So once we've established that line going down the oval, towards the bottom, but not the very bottom of the oval, we're going to put like a little small circle, like right about there, like another small oval. And this is going to act as you can see, Bugs Bunny's like his little like nose muzzle area, you know? And then we're going to start by rounding out his cheek, kind of like that. We're going to do the first cheek, which is closest to us. Kind of like that. And then we're going to do the other cheek, which again is kind of hidden behind his face here. So it's going to be a bit smaller. But both of these lines are going to meet towards the bottom of his skull, like the little oval. And that's going to create the bottom part of his face, like his cheeks and his little chin. You guys see that? Step by step. Bear with me. I haven't drawn in years. I left the world of drawing to become a voiceover artist, but I love learning and trying to teach with you because I learn as well. So we got his cheeks now. Now that we got that little muzzle, why don't we start by adding his teeth? So remember that middle line that went down? We could use that line as his teeth. Right here in the middle of his teeth. We don't want to draw it too thick because he doesn't have.
I don't have a gap tooth. I just have buck teeth.
So right in here, actually, you know what? We'll save the muzzle for later. Let's move on to his eye on this side of his face. Again, it's going to be a little bit smaller. And then this eye is going to be a little bit bigger because it's closer to us in perspective. And now that we have those eyes, we could fill in the pupil right here, fill in the pupil right here. And now we can go back to this little muzzle shape. So we're going to kind of divide this in half and do like a little triangle for his little
Tiny nose.
And we're going to do the muzzle shape like that. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'll wait. And then from there, we can kind of do the underside of his smile, like that little smile line. Kind of makes those cheeks even cuter. You know, he's got like this chubby cheeks.
Because they're full of carrots.
And we'll do the other cheek on that side. On the outer part of this here, his face will join the cheek to his eyebrow like this. And then we can do the other eyebrow. And then much like the other side of his cheek on the back here, the back of his head will join to his cheek. And we'll start to shape the top of his head. And it kind of looks like, you know, almost like kind of comes up like a bell. Like kind of like that. From here, we could do his hair. He's got 3 little tufts like that. 1, 2, 3. Now this is always the, you know, the make or break moment because I always like have to make sure that I leave enough space for his big ears. His ears are about like a head and a half or a head and a quarter, sorry. Like kind of like this and just a little bit more. So like right about there. So we're going to do like from the back of his head, a line like that, and it kind of comes down like that. And then another line behind his hair that kind of comes out like that. And then we can do the inner workings of his ear, like another line in here, like that. And then like a smaller line in here like so, and like that. We're almost there. You can see like this is pretty darn good, right? You guys, I'm sure, are doing a fantastic job. Let's go back to his cheeks. He's got like 2 or 3 kind of like, you know, bits of fur on his cheek here. So like that. And why don't we go ahead and give him like a big old smile. And then we'll do the bottom lip like that. Can't forget his tongue. And it's not bugs until he has his trademark 6 whiskers. So 3 whiskers on each side of the muzzle. And it doesn't have to be 3. You could do 4. You could do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
And that's how you draw Bugs Bunny.
We could also add the neck. I forgot. So it's not just the floating head. Did you guys do okay? And again,
Let's
if
see
this is
him.
your first time drawing bugs, I promise you, if you practice, it's only going to get better from here. And I think we'll take a peek at some of those at the end, but I saw some of them. You guys did a great job. You guys want to move on to the next character? Who's up for a little bit of Daffy Duck action? So much like Bugs, Daffy kind of has the same kind of shaped head. You could start by doing like that oval. And then we're going to draw the same kind of vertical axis line that will divide the oval into two different parts. And instead of drawing that little circle where Bugs Bunny had the muzzle,
Daffy Duck has the big bill, like his beak.
So let's draw like a line going out this way, about the same positioning where the Bugs Bunny muzzle was, like right about here. And just like Bugs Bunny, he's got like a cheek that kind of does that same kind of curve, like this. Now from here, we're going to do the inside laugh line of that cheek that's closest to us. So we're going to do a line like that. And once we've established that, we're going to draw another line, probably closest towards that laugh line that goes down like this. It has like a bit of a curve to it, but it kind of goes straight down. Now to help kind of like, you know, stabilize the drawing, we're going to do some of the eyes. So the eye that's furthest away is going to be like that. And again, the eye that's closest to it's going to be slightly bigger, like this. And you could slowly start to see Daffy jump off the page. So why don't we just add that pupil in like that. Now he's kind of like staring at us. This is the fun part of drawing the duckbill, is taking that kind of line that has that slight curve that goes down, and we're going to join it with the top line a bit like this. We're going to make it curve up kind of like the brim of a baseball cap. And we're going to do a line like this that tucks under. And that's like the duckbill. And on that duckbill, he's got like, on this side at least that we could see, he's got like the one little nostril. And then we're going to do the other cheek that's tucked behind the bill, like that, and a little laugh line right there. Let's continue by joining that cheek with the eyebrow. And then we could draw Daffy's other eyebrow. And just like Bugs, we're going to kind of shape the head. We're going to draw the back of the head that joins the duckbill at a kind of a curve like that. And it kind of meets in the same place, just like Bugs. And they have the same kind of hairstyle. It's like that 3 kind of tufts of hair. So like 1, 2, 3.
And it would only be appropriate to have an even bigger smile than Bugs, because Daffy likes to spit all over the place.
So we're going to draw that big old smile down here with the tongue and that bottom lip. And it finishes off with that cheek. And then we're going to draw that classic Daffy Duck neck with the collar. And from here, you can get fancy and fill them in with like your pencil or whatever device you're using to draw, and kind of like color them in with like your pencil.
And that, my friends, is how you draw Daffy Duck.
How'd you guys do? Good? Whoa, very nice. Oh, there he is. I see so many good Daffys out there. Congrats.
It's a really impressive, everyone. Look at that. I love it, Kathy.
Wow.
So
All right, I
great, you
think we have
guys.
time for one more character. What do you guys think? You guys want to try to draw Marvin? All right. This is like another one of those like simple but complicated character designs. I believe Chuck Jones is the director that created the Marvin the Martian design. And it's such a funny character. You know that Marvin's from Mars, right? He's a Martian. He's like an alien. He's not from our planet. So we're going to do a circle this time instead of an oval. And just like the other two characters, we're going to separate that circle with an axis line, a vertical axis line. This will kind of, again, help us decide where the eyeballs are. But before we can even get into that, we're going to go just above half of the circle. We're going to do the bottom part of his visor. I don't know if you can see this, but Marvin, he has like a helmet on. It's almost like a Roman Empire helmet to help protect him in space battles. So we're going to do the bottom part, and it's kind of like another line, it looks like an axis line that kind of comes down like that, but it's actually the bottom part of the visor. At the end of that line, we'll put a circle here that acts as the hinge that keeps the visor attached to the helmet. And once we've established that circle, we could do the top part of the visor, like so. You see that shape? So that's like the top and bottom part of his visor. Once we've established that, we can do the inner workings of the visor, like another line that goes into that circle. And again, can be very rough. You guys are just exploring this character for the first time. No big deal. And then we're gonna define his face using that circle. From this hinge, we're gonna do the side compartments of his helmet. They kind of like come down like kind of like mutton chops, like sideburns, but they're there to protect him. It's like a football helmet. And then once we have that shape, we could use this perspective line here to do the other part of his helmet, like so. It kind of comes out like that. So now that we kind of have these in, I always like to fill in the eyes. And Marvin is always pretty darn suspicious of whoever he's hanging out with. He's always trying to take over the world. Not generally a happy guy. So we're going to do his eyes. And he has rather big eyes. They kind of take up almost his entire face because he doesn't have a nose or a mouth. So you can kind of do like these suspicious or like angry eyebrows, and we'll give them kind of like the ridges like that. And then we can put in the pupils. Now we're going to finish the helmet once you guys have kind of roughed in the eyes. So this back part here kind of comes up to an edge, and we could use that rough circle that we drew to finish the helmet. So just darken that circle line and you have the back of Marvin's helmet. Funny part about the helmet always that I always found funny was that little push broom, that little broom on the top of his helmet. I don't know what, I guess it's decorative, or maybe he wants to sweep the floor later with his helmet. Let's try to draw that. He's got, it's joined to the helmet by like this little kind of like stick, almost like a broom handle. And then we're going to do kind of like the underside of a rectangle, but also in perspective. That kind of goes like this. We'll do one line here. We'll jut that line out like this and do the other side. And once we have these lines in place, we can kind of give it like dimension by adding like the ridge of that broom. And then my favorite part is adding the bristles. Once you guys are there, I'll hang out for a bit while you guys get those moves down. So the bristle would be like, it's almost like a chalkboard eraser, like kind of like that same theory and shape. And then from here you can kind of add as many lines as possible. You don't have to do too many. And just like Daffy, we could color in Marvin's face once you've done the push broom on the top of his head. And that is how you draw Marvin the Martian. How'd you guys do? I know, it's a tough one, but I thought these three characters are pretty challenging to draw. And again, with enough practice, and especially if you had fun, you can master these characters. I still have to, oh, look at that, Marvin, it's so good. Wow, I am impressed.
So impressive.
You guys, I can't believe how talented you are.
So awesome, you guys.
Now, all you have to do is learn how to do these voices and I can retire.
We still need you, Eric.
Okay, fine, I'll stay.
Well, before we let Eric go, you guys, we're going to throw a couple questions out to you guys so you guys can ask Eric some of your personal questions. First up, we're going to have Christina Patrizio and her two adorable children as they are dressed for the jam. Christina, take it away.
Ready.
Hi, Eric.
Hi.
Our question was, I know you voiced not just Looney Tunes characters, but a lot of characters. We did our research. And what character has been your favorite to voice?
Oh boy, what a fantastic question. I love this question. I mean, like you said, outside the Looney Tunes universe, I've voiced plenty of characters, but to me, Looney Tunes will always be the number one. And I have to say, again, with a 50-50 finish, it would have to be between Bugs and Daffy.
Bugs Bunny is like one of the coolest characters, and Daffy can get really mad.
He's the voice that I use when I'm in traffic.
Hey, share her road, pal.
But yeah, I mean, I love these characters. But yeah, Bugs and Daffy, I would say it's a two-way tie. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Ashley Saunders.
Hi. So I was wondering, you voice a lot of characters in the movie, and I was wondering which one is most like you.
Oh man, I mean, I usually go with Bugs because he's kind of like the every person, you know, like he kind of just minds his own business until, of course, someone like Yosemite Sam or Elmer Fudd gets in his way, and then he kind of has to become a trickster. You know, he's one of my favorites, but for the same reason I like Daffy. He
gets into trouble with his big beak.
You know, he kind of just acts inappropriately sometimes, but you know, he redeems himself later on. He learns his lesson. But yeah, I mean, these characters there's so many great personalities. Tweety's the same way. He's kind of like appears to be innocent, but boy, you don't want to mess with Tweety. Yeah, ask Sylvester. But yeah, I'd say Bugs. Bugs is like one of my favorites, and I'm most like him.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Taddy Pradilla from Cool Mom Cool Tips.
Okay.
Hi, thank you for being with us today. I wanted to ask you, what was the most challenging in making this movie?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I think I speak for all of us when I say, you know, the pandemic, not being able to be in studio. We started the movie, you know, working in studio, and then suddenly we weren't allowed to go back in, but I was able to record all of my voices from home. We were able to communicate as we are now over Zoom. You know, a good percentage of the movie, Space Jam: A New Legacy, would have been recorded in my closet. So if you hear my neighbor's dog barking during the movie or any lawnmowers, I promise I'll pay your month subscription of HBO Max. My apologies. But no, I just saw the movie the other day. It's as if we were still together while making the movie last year. And if anything, you know, people love a good challenge. And I think when we're challenged, sometimes, not just in animation and work, but in life. Some good things will happen, and we get above it, and we move on, and we do our best. I think it's great that the movie has come out at this time when things are starting to lighten up. I actually went to the movie theater for the first time in a long time the other day. I ate popcorn outside of my house, and it was fine. So I really do hope that, if you can't go to the movies, of course, you could watch Space Jam: A New Legacy on HBO Max, July 16th. But if you're feeling up to it, I think seeing this movie on a big screen with big sounds, you can hear all the music, all the jokes. It's going to be, I think, one of the biggest movies to come out in 2021, if not the biggest.
Because of Daffy Duck, of course.
But of course. Okay, our next question is going to come from Susie from Happy Mess Moments.
How do you prepare yourself before each character?
Oh man, I go back to the classics. Thanks for asking. What a good question. I go back to watching the original shorts because, again, I didn't create these characters. I'm just one of the lucky people that gets to remind people why we love them so much. The original voice actor, of course, is Mel Blanc. He's the one that created all of these amazing personalities and characters, all of their
Speech impediments.
and all of these funny voices that you would think that they came from a bunch of people, but it was just one guy doing it. It was him and June Foray. She's like, if you could say Mel Blanc was the man of a million voices, June Foray was the woman of a million voices. She was the voice of Granny. She, outside of Looney Tunes, she was Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle. And, I was one of the lucky ones that got to meet her. I watched the original classics to get warmed up. And I practice in my car on my way to the session.
Thank you so much. Our next question is going to come from Kathy Cupkit from Bel Air Mommy.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Ari. Thank you so much for being here. You were ridiculously talented. It's amazing. Oh my God. So I wanted to ask you, I know this is going to be a wild question, but the characters voices that you voice over, what is one or two of the fondest memories you have?
Oh boy. I mean, okay, this is thank you for asking, and thank you so much for the kind words. I really think that you're only as talented as the company that you keep. So you guys, I think, are mega talented as well. Doing what you guys do, not just drawing, but being parents and keeping your kids entertained this whole time. Fondest memories coming with these characters would have to be, the original Space Jam was made in 1996, and before then, there were these two Super Bowl commercials for Nike with Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. I grew up in the 90s, and Michael Jordan, at the time, arguably one of the greatest players of all time. And he really did inspire this bond between basketball and the Looney Tunes. And those, you could look them up on YouTube. They're on there. The commercials are, you could just type in Air and Hair Jordan. And I was like, maybe like 10, 12. I made my mom drive out to Foot Locker to buy the t-shirts and all the hats and the shoes. I'm 41 years old. I'm still wearing a Bugs Bunny t-shirt. And I got a 5-year-old son, and he's gonna love Looney Tunes. He loves them just as much as I do. But the full circle moment came for me when I got to star as Marvin the Martian in a Nike commercial for the Air Jordan shoe, not with Michael Jordan, but with Blake Griffin, formerly of the LA Clippers. And the director of that commercial was Jon Favreau. He's the guy that directed those Iron Man movies. Mm-hmm. And it was called The Dunk to End All Dunks. And it was a slam dunk competition between Blake Griffin and Marvin the Martian. And I never would have guessed in a million years, being a fan of these commercials, these short stories, that I would be in one myself. So it just goes to show you kids, if you have a dream or a passion to do something, never give up on yourself and never give up on that dream, because you never know what's going to happen later on, you know, especially if you try. You might find that you don't like it and you move on and you do something else. But if you do love it,
You'll never know what can happen. Suddenly you become Daffy Duck.
you know, it's the strangest thing. But yeah, that was like one of them. And then again, getting to meet someone like June Foray, who's involved in the original production. She was voicing Granny in a cartoon, and I was voicing Marvin the Martian. And I just thanked her, you know, for all of the years that she put in voicing and creating these characters. And, you know, it's just, it was a magical experience.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Our next question is going to come from Angela and Andrew from Queen Bee Latina.
Hi, I have a question. So
Yes.
how did you get started in animation?
Oh, wow. We have a very driven young man here. He wants to know right now. You just did it. This was your first test. This was all an elaborate prank to get you to work at Warner Brothers. Congratulations. You're hired. Just like this, you know, drawing every day, like just for fun. If it's something that you like to do, then you've already started your journey into animation. Of course, you know, stay in school. You know, there were many courses and all over the world where you can study art and animation. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, eh? You know, we're the neighbors to the north. America's hat, as they like to say. You know, there's plenty of schools there for animation, but I decided to leave my home in Toronto to come here. I'm here in Los Angeles, California. I always noticed in those 1940 cartoons, it said Burbank, California, made in Burbank, California. I was like, where is this place? And now I know where it is. I know where all the Targets are in Burbank. So if you ever want to know where Target is, I'll let you know. But there's so many animation studios in Burbank. And, you know, once you go through school and kind of like learn like the logistics of how animation works, then you start building your demo reel and your portfolio, like a collection of all your drawings to impress these studios. And hopefully and surely they'll hire you. And then from there, it's up to you, you know, put in the work and I think good things will happen.
Okay, great. We have time for one more question from Selena Hughes from Sitting Pretty with Selena and her boys.
Okay. Hi, Eric. Thank you for the lesson. And my question was actually just answered, but I would like to know, like during animation or voiceover, are you like thinking of the character in your mind? What are you thinking when you're animating or doing the voiceover for the characters?
Another great question. It's like just the personalities and what you remember, especially with these established characters. If it's an original character that you've come up with like on your own, you kind of have this blank canvas to work with. But if it's characters like the Looney Tunes, again, that have been around for 81 years now, you kind of I take every memory. Now, kids, back in my day, cartoons were only available on Saturday mornings and after school. Now you can watch a cartoon on the side of my glass here. But it's like, you know, I took every Saturday morning that me and my big brother, I got a brother, his name's Alan, he's 6 years older than me. We used to watch the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show. And I just take every memory, every laugh that I ever experienced with these characters. And I think about what would make people laugh if I had a chance to be Bugs Bunny. Like, what would he say and how would he act? And then, of course, you have the support of everyone else that makes the cartoon. The director's there, the writers are there, the producer, the musicians, all of the talented artists and painters, even the production assistants. We're all there working together as a team. but it really is the memories that I have as a kid. So, you know, hopefully you guys will remember this day, and maybe some kind of spark can happen today to help your creative side.
Right. So this is a dream come true, right? Proof that dreams come true.
I am literally living a dream right now, and to be able to share that with you guys today is fantastic. And it's one thing to be here again, but to hopefully inspire and inform people who have that curiosity about, like, should I do this? Is this for me? Can I do this? Can I make a living, you know, doing drawing? You know, yeah, you can. It's kind of an amazing thing. You know, this is, again, one of the most anticipated, not just movies, but events in animation. Like, people have been waiting 25 years to see like another Space Jam, and here we are.
Well, thank you and congratulations.
Before we go, we're going to take a group photo. So everyone get your animated drawings up, and JPI will tell us on the count of 3 when we can all smile pretty for the camera with our drawings.
All right, guys. So if everyone's got their images up, perfect. And then on the count of 3, 1, 2, careful with those virtual backgrounds. Make sure we can see everybody. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, great. And then if you guys want to take one with your pictures down, and then you guys can just smile, we'll do a second one. All right, great. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, great. Thanks, guys, so much.
Thank you, everybody.